Hey guys, in this video we're going to be looking at a handful of T-side rounds from Sprout and their match against OG on Nuke. I'm going to be focusing on the calling and the decision making, and this is something that was requested on Reddit. So let's get started. So this is the first round we're going to be looking at. It's also the first gun round of the map. First thing we're going to see is that Spiidi's going to throw a cross smoke for outside, and by throwing the cross smoke outside, it basically allows the T's to cross over towards this red area without being seen from the CTs. So from the CT's point of view, whenever they see the smoke, they have to respect the fact that there could be a T here. And it's the same as smoking top mid on Mirage, where you can cross over towards those top mid boxes. This is the exact same thing. This is something you might want to do almost every round. Next we're going to see that Favin, he's going to throw a nade open for door and also a Molotov towards this mini area. Again, this is something you want to do generally almost every round to kind of establish presence towards this door area and put pressure on this mini player as well as this top hut player that there could be a player peeking at door almost any time. Next here, we're going to see that D-How, he's going to be defaulting towards this ramp area. Notice that he already sees a smoke up from the CTs. This is going to be important for later on in this round, so just keep that in mind. So next we're going to see that Spiidi and Snatchy, they're going to go on the top of T roof. And they're going to line up these double nades for the top of hut. We're going to see that Snatchy is going to line himself up with Spiidi. And this is a really effective way to kind of do damage to the player who likes to play on the top of hut and perhaps discourage him from wanting to play there too often. Afterwards, we're going to see that Spiidi is going to go on the top of Silo while the rest of his team, they start grouping up towards this lobby ramp area. So the next thing we're going to see is that D-How, as he's posted up towards this ramp area, he notices that the CT throws a Molotov as well. So now we know that they've used their smoke as well as their Molotov. Next, we're going to see that Denis is going to creep up towards this ramp area, and this is when we're going to see a second smoke from the CTs towards this ramp area. So what this second smoke means is that it's very likely that a second CT has come over to throw this smoke to buy time for his ramp player. Because the T's haven't put any pressure here or made any noise, it's very likely that the CT is just going to rotate away after throwing the smoke. And they know this because they know the CTs don't have information on them. They still have eyes on outside. They know the CTs haven't pushed outside. As well, they have eyes on lobby still. They know the CTs haven't pushed into lobby. They still have eyes on door and hut. So they know that this smoke isn't a smoke to kind of close in on their location. It's more so a smoke to buy time. And we're going to see that that was exactly the case where mantuu just simply throws the smoke and then rotates away. We're going to see that Denis is going to get closer towards the entrance. Snatchy is going to throw a flash for him towards this ramp area. Denis is able to swing out, get this kill onto Validate towards ramp, and they're going to clear out the rest of ramp. They're going to throw utility towards this Turnpike area so the CT can't peek them from here. And because they're able to get this kill onto Validate inside this ramp rim area and not towards lower, they know that the next rotator is going to be a bit late. So because of that, they actually push in very quickly towards this lower area. And since they have 4 smokes, they can smoke off all the entrances. So they can smoke off control window, control door, as well as decontamination door. And now at this point, it makes it a very difficult retake for the CTs, and that's why they opt to save. Okay, so this is the next round. And once again, Spiidi is going to throw a cross smoke outside. Denis is going to do something a little bit different, where he's actually going to throw a smoke that's going to land just in front of the door. That's going to work in combination with these nades that Favin throws here. So once again, nades open the door, Molotovs towards mini. That smoke lands just in front of the door like this. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to bait the CTs into peeking them from the top of hut. And because of that, we're going to see that Spiidi and Snatchy, they're going to get on the top of T roof. We're going to line up these double nades for the top of hut. They don't get anybody in this particular round, but you can see what the idea would be. Next, we're going to see that Spiidi is going to throw this Molotov, and I'm pretty sure this is a missed Molotov because he lines it up the same way as if he would throw a top hut Molotov. So this Molotov is a missed Molotov. And as he drops down, you're going to see that D-How and Snatchy, they're going to be ready to throw nades for an upper exec. What we're going to see next is that Favin, as he's holding towards this door position, you're going to see that a smoke comes in towards this door area, and actually this smoke gives away where this player is probably playing. Because of the angle of this smoke, it actually suggests that this player is playing towards this Mustang top rafter area. And you're going to see that was exactly the case. ISSA, he actually throws the smoke from the top Mustang area, and because of the way it bounces, it gives away his position. So off this information alone, we're going to see the start of the exec. So right here, we're going to see that Snatchy is going to throw a smoke at Mustang. D-How, he's going to throw a Molotov that's going to land in sight next to Silo. And then Snatchy is going to throw a Molotov that's going to land on the top of hut. At the same time, Favin, he's going to push right through this door smoke. Unfortunately, he doesn't get this kill into Aleksib POV, which is why we're going to watch this from Spiidi's point of view. So once again, the exec nades come through. His teammate throws a flash off the corner to allow Spiidi to entry out of hut. And notice that when Spiidi comes out, he's mostly checking to see if this player is in this Mustang area. It's because that call was made earlier where they know that this player has to be in this area. And as Spiidi clears the site, you're going to see he's finally going to get that kill onto ISSA towards that Mustang area. And now they basically have the site, and OG, they're in a really difficult position to retake once again. So if we look at this from ISSA's point of view, once again, like I mentioned, because he throws that smoke, it basically gives away where he's playing. And because of that, the T's act very quickly. It's basically seconds after he throws that smoke, the exec's gonna come through, and notice that because Spiidi takes this path and ISSA's playing anti-flash, he basically doesn't even realize that Spiidi went all the way around towards the silo position, and that's how he ends up dying here. You'll see that from Aleksib B's point of view. As he comes up towards his vent during this exec, he's able to find this first kill, but the way he dies is he actually gets wall banged from Snatchy through hut. So rather unfortunate for Aleksib B. So this is the next round I want to talk about. So right here we're going to see that Sprout, they're going to throw the wall of smokes outside. And Denis, he's basically just going to fly into secret. So he's going to use these wall of smokes, he's going to throw a cross smoke as well as a flash to push off any early CTs. And at the same time Snatchy, he's going to go for a mini pick through door. He's able to get this kill onto mantuu. And because mantuu is their AWPer, Denis knows that he has a bit more space to work with outside. He knows that this AWPer is not going to be peeking through the edge of the smoke here. He also knows that they're not going to be playing on this left side of secret. And he also knows that this AWPer is not going to be coming up from the stairs, being able to peek him as he runs up. So because of this, Denis, he knows that he has a lot more space to work with. He just continues to keep moving. And now at this point, you're going to see that Spiidi, he's going to be playing at the top of silo. He's going to throw a bit of utility to push these CTs back towards the CT spawn area. He's also going to throw a flash. And at the same time, you're going to see that Deha, he's going to spam towards this door area. He's also going to throw a Molotov to cut off a possible rotation route for ISSA to drop down towards this vent area. And because of that, Denis, he actually knows he has a bit more space to work with. He still has to be aware that there could be somebody who's in the secret area who rotated from ramp, but he knows that he doesn't have to focus all too much towards this vent area. And because they cut off the rotations from upper, the ramp player Valide, he's going to be forced to actually go down towards this lower area. Denis, he's already made it towards his control area, and he hasn't seen a CT yet. You're going to see that Sprout, they're going to send multiple people towards this ramp area to do a bit of a pinch on ramp, and as well to eventually go down towards lower. Denis doesn't actually know where this player is at ramp. He may have already rotated down, and because of that, Denis, he's actually going to make first contact here from control to actually pull this ramp player to take contact on him first, to give his teammates at ramp space to actually take towards this ramp room. And because of that, Denis, he's actually able to take first contact on Valide. He gets the kill, and then his teammates get the kill on the second ramp player who actually just rotated in. And now at this point, they have so much control here. Denis is going to Molotov towards that vent area, and Favin smokes towards decontamination, and now the CG's are in a really difficult position to be able to retake, so they're forced to save. So the next round we're going to be looking at here is round 7. And what we're going to see here at the start is just a simple default. So Snatchy is just simply going to throw a cross smoke outside. He's actually going to bring his AWP aggressively towards red. Favin is going to throw those nades towards door and mini once again. And then Spiidi, he's going to throw a Molotov towards ramp to basically establish control so the CTs don't push too early. Now at this point, Snatchy is actually posted up on big garage. Spiidi's going to throw another flash towards ramp to just establish presence, so now they have a bit of space to actually throw outside smokes. So you're going to see that Spiidi and Deha, they're going to come back towards this truck area. I'm going to throw the wall of smokes. And off of these smokes, what you're going to see is that Favin, he's playing towards this hut area. And because he's playing towards hut, he actually has a lot of information on how the CTs are going to rotate. This is going to be very key in this particular round. So from this position, he's actually going to hear that the CTs throw a smoke at door. And he's going to hear that Aleksib B drops down. And this is actually a very common way that the CTs rotate, where they're going to smoke the door and have this player drop down towards this vent area, ensuring that they're not going to get shot from door. And because of that, Favin, he can hear the sound cues of this happening to tell his teammates that it's very likely that somebody dropped down towards the secret area. So off of this information, you can see that Snatchy is actually going to get boosted on top of red to peek towards CT. Spiidi's going to throw a flash there as well. And they're going to change the direction of how they want this round to end. Favin, he's going to see another smoke come in towards this upper area. So now at this point, they know that the CTs are probably low on smokes, low on utility towards this upper site. So it makes it the more favorable site to hit. So they're actually going to pass through the wall of smokes here to get into the big garage area. And as they do this, they're actually going to meet NBK here towards this mini position. They're able to get the kill, and now they're in a 5v4 situation. And now at this point, Favin, he's actually pushed himself a little bit more aggressively towards this hut area, and he actually spots that the AWPer is playing towards this upper site. So now at this point, you're going to see that Denis, he knows that he has a lot more space because this AWPer isn't playing towards this outside area. He knows that he's playing towards upper. And because of that, Denis, he's going to go up on top of this heaven position. The rest of Sprout, they're going to make their way towards this mini area. And at the same time, Favin, he realizes that he doesn't need to be the first point of contact at hut. So what he's going to do instead, he's going to Molotov in the site next to silo to kind of push mantuu off that spot. What we're going to see here is that the mini players, they're going to take contact first. So notice what Spiidi does here. You can see that he's actually just going to jump across towards mini, and it actually buys space for Denis to come up from heaven to get this first kill into ISSA. And then mantuu is in a really tough spot behind that silo area, and Favin gets that kill. So if we look at ISSA's point of view, once again, like I mentioned, Spiidi actually jumps across the angle, and you can see this is really effective, as he's not really able to get a clear shot along with those flashes as well. You can see that from Mantuu's point of view, this is a really tough situation for him to get out of. As soon as that Molotov comes through, he's in a really tough position where the most he can actually hope for is to try to 1v1 the player at hut. Unfortunately, he ends up going down as well. So this next round from Sprout, they're going to try to bait out as much utility as they can from the CTs at the start of the round towards this door / mini position. So Spiidi is going to get rid of this flash that lands just above door. Denis and Favin, they're going to throw a bunch of utility towards mini / door, and they're just trying to get the CTs to throw as much utility back at them as possible. So right here we're going to see the CTs, they throw one smoke at door, so already mission accomplished. Spiidi's going to check towards this outside position because after throwing that much utility towards this upper door area, it's very likely that if a CT was pushed up, he might actually try to get aggressive. So that's why Spiidi's actually going all the way around the silo just to make sure the CT hasn't pushed. At the same time, Denis is making sure that the ramp player hasn't pushed either, because whenever you put a lot of pressure towards this upper position, the players on the extremity ends of the map may want to actually push. So right here we're going to see that Sprout, they do their job to make sure that the CTs aren't pushing. Next we're going to see that Spiidi, as he drops down from this T roof area, him and his teammates are going to set up for the outside wall smokes. And as they throw the smokes, notice right here that they're actually running as much as they possibly can. They're not afraid to actually make noise here, so that this mini player may actually hear their footsteps and prompt some type of rotation. Here we're going to see that Denis, as he's playing towards this door area, he's going to notice that another smoke has come through. So that's the second smoke that they've used at upper, and it suggests maybe some type of rotation. Next we're going to see that Snatchy is going to go up on top of T roof, and he's going to get ready to throw a flash. Meanwhile, Spiidi and the rest of his teammates, they're going to group up in front of this door position, where they're going to do a bit of an upper pop. So right here, we're going to see that Spiidi, he's going to be the first one in. Snatchy's going to throw a flash. Favin's going to throw a Molotov towards that fake vent position. Spiidi's going to jump out as soon as the utility's coming out. He gets the information that ISSA's there and he gets traded. If you look at this from Dihaw's point of view, you're going to see that Denis also throws a mini smoke on this hit. And as they come out, Dihaw, he basically just trades off Spiidi there, and then he makes sure that he clears the top of hut. Notice right here that Denis, as the third person in, he's ensuring that this player doesn't come out from this heaven area as Dihaw decides to swing out to clear out the rest of the site. So if we look at ISSA's point of view, you can see he's taking this wide off angle, and because Spiidi comes out as the utility is being thrown, Spiidi is actually a little bit ahead of where ISSA expects him to be. And because of that, Spiidi, although he dies, he actually gets a lot of space for his teammates to put ISSA in a bad position where he's definitely going to get traded. So this last round that we're going to be looking at, we're going to see that it's going to start off almost the same, where Denis, he's going to throw that cross smoke outside to put a bit of pressure outside, but Spiidi, he's actually going to throw a top hut Molotov, and Snatchy, he's actually going to go for a door pick. Spiidi's going to throw a couple of nades towards upper, he's also going to throw another nade towards outside to prevent this push from outside from happening. Next we're going to see that Spiidi, he's going to regroup with his teammates towards lobby. They're going to throw a lurk smoke outdoor. And right here what we're going to see is that these group of players are going to try to get this pick on the player top hut and then try to drop towards vent. You're going to see that this is the intention because they still have a player towards this ramp area. So right here we're going to see that they get the trade on the player top hut. Then they're going to slowly try to make their way down towards this vent area. They drop down vent, intentionally making noise to make it known to the CTs that they've dropped down towards this vent position. So let's back up here a little bit. So once again, like I mentioned, we have this player who's going to be floating towards this ramp position as these players take contact from door. You're going to see that as they get this kill, you can see that Denis is going to try to walk through this ramp smoke to try to get contact on this ramp player, which he successfully does here as Mantuu is going to start rotating down towards lower. And now at this point, Mantuu, he knows that there's going to be players coming down from this vent area, as well as this player who's trying to lurk him from ramp. So what it looks like from the CTs basically is that all these players coming in from this decontamination side and one player coming in from this ramp area, it definitely looks like some type of lower split. Denis, he's also going to throw a Molotov towards this Turnpike area, and then Favin, he's also going to throw this smoke here just in front of the doors to suggest that they're actually going to be planning towards lower. But what we're going to see here instead is that Denis, he's actually going to be coming in behind his Molotov at Turnpike, and he's going to try to flank the heaven player. And what Sprout are trying to do is they're trying to make this as convincing as possible to get this heaven player to actually start rotating. So they're going to throw all their nades, they're going to start spamming the top of Raptors as well to make it as convincing as possible so that this heaven player actually rotates off his spot. And that's exactly what happens here, where Denis, he's actually able to catch NBK as he's trying to float over towards that vent area. And because of that Sprout, they have the opening they need to actually be able to take the upper site as they come up through the vents. And now at this point, OG have lost so much map control that they're not even in a position to be able to retake, so they're going to be forced to save. So as mentioned before, NBK's rotation away from heaven is actually what allows Sprout to do this. However, this actually stems from the fact that mantuu is playing towards his control side after dropping from ramp, and that's exactly why Sprout, they actually decide to go decontamination side after dropping towards vent. It's because they know that the CT playing from control is very difficult for them to get real information with their eyes on what's happening in the site. They can only just hear all the nades that Sprout are throwing, which is exactly why they threw basically everything they could towards this lower site to make it very convincing. And because OG don't have actual eyes on lower, they have to rely on what they hear. And as well, because Aleksib has already pushed towards this lobby position, NBK is pretty sure that he feels like it's going to be a lower hit, and that's exactly what Sprout end up exploiting. Okay guys, this was a long one, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more future content. Thanks again, I'll see you guys in the next one.